Hi everyone, my name is Jessie. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Boris FX. Thank you so much for joining us today for our NAB wrap-up featuring Brian Fox, Peter McCulley, and Mary Poplin. We're all members of the Boris FX team and product team. Today we'll be covering all things 2019. Brian is going to start off with Sapphire 2019. If you don't already know what's new inside Sapphire 2019, the new features are a totally revamped lens flare designer. We've added a pixel sort effect, which is a digital art effect. We've enhanced Mocha's masking tools with new spline tools and an essentials mode. There's a new whiplash transition that's kind of like a souped up swish pan, and we've also added GPU speed improvements. And coming soon in 2019.5, we're adding new effects including a parallax strip effect. Pixel sort will be a transition, and the always popular digital damage effect is going to be a transition as well. We've also updated the GUI for Builder, and you'll soon have full clip access inside Builder, the preset browser, and Flare Designer. In Continuum 19, we've added Particle Illusion, which is a real-time particle generator. Mocha has improved integration with parameter tracking and advanced tracking masking tools. Title Studio has added new image shader effects and 8K support, and we've also added external broadcast monitor support. And coming soon in 2019, which will be released later this summer, is Particle Illusion will be available as a standalone app. We're also adding new forces and customizable sprites features. Title Studio gets enhanced Cinema 4D support. Primat Studio will have a new spill control option, and the transitions unit will have a new particle illusion dissolve. In Mocha Pro 2019, the new features are Mocha Essentials Workspace, high DPI Retina display. We've added a bunch of new masking tools, including magnetic splines. The always popular object removal is now GPU accelerated, and Mocha VR, which was previously a separate product, is now included directly within Mocha Pro 2019. In the 2019.5 version, also coming out soon, we're going to add DaVinci Resolve support. The magnetic spline tools are adding new edge snapping keyframes, and there's new GPU matte optimization. If you have any questions during the course of the webinar, simply type them into the questions panel that's on the interface, and we'll answer them as quickly as we can. If you stay till the end, you can win awesome VFX prizes, including 1-year subscription to the Boris FX bundle, 1 year to Continuum, 1 year to Sapphire, and 1 year to Mocha Pro. We're also having an NAB sale that the offer expires on this Sunday, April 28th. You can get 25% off individual product purchases. That includes new subscriptions, upgrades, and full licenses. And if you already have a bundle, you can get 25% off any upgrade path. And if you don't have a bundle, and that's our best value, you'll get Continuum, Sapphire, and Mocha Pro together, or you can choose 2 of the products. You can get 50% off new bundle full licenses. Finally, please visit us if you want to join our community at Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're actually also on Instagram. And now, Brian, if you're ready, I'm going to make you presenter.
Go ahead and share my screen. Just if you could let me know if you can see that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Brian Fox. I'm product manager for Sapphire FX. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We're going to talk about some exciting new stuff. We have some new 2019.5 releases that I'll show you. That is actually the first time we're publicly showing these features. Just to back up a little bit, in September or October, we released Sapphire 2019, which, as Jessie said, had some really cool new features like lens flares, pixel sorts, new whiplash transition, GPU speed improvements, some of the new Mocha Essentials. And coming this summer, we're going to release 2019.5. Now, that's a free point release for anyone who purchased 2019. And it's the first time we've done a mid-cycle release that actually has new features and new effects. So we're really excited about it. So today I'm going to show you the new parallax strips transition, which comes as part of 2019.5, and some new improvements to the builder. If I have time, I'm going to jump in to show you guys pixel sort as well, and maybe some new lens flares and the new whiplash transition. I'm going to move fast because we have a ton to show you. Like Mary's going to show you some really cool stuff with Mocha, and Pete's going to follow me showing some awesome new particle illusion for Continuum. But if you have any questions, definitely jump into the forums. Ross is in there answering everyone's questions, and I'll be in those forums after. So if you guys have any specific Sapphire questions after I'm presented, I can answer those in the forum as well. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start with the brand new stuff because that's kind of what I'm excited about, and let's jump in to parallax strips. This is a brand new effect. Let me just do a quick little render here and kind of show you what parallax strips does. What parallax strips is it'll take an image and it'll divide it into strips, and those can be any size, width, and actually sort them with Z-space, so you get this nice kind of parallax effect. And then those strips can rip apart an image and kind of seamlessly reform them into a complete image, and it can do the opposite too. So you can start with a full image and rip apart those strips. Let me show you a couple different examples of parallax strips here too. Like, it's like a full Sapphire effect as you would expect. There's tons of different parameters you can mess with. You can do different move the strips at different angles. You can move them at different speeds. If you'll notice, each strip has the image inside it, and you can adjust the speed moving inside those strips. So if you think of each strip as a mat, you can adjust the fill inside the mat as to how fast or slow that goes as well. You can adjust the speed and the size of the strips. Like, you don't have to do big kind of fat rectangular strips. This example has some nice little thin strips, if it'll play for me. Go ahead. So here are some more examples of some thin strips as well. So really cool new effect, fun to play around with. We were showing this off at NAB last year, a couple months ago. Feels like a couple months ago, but it was about 2 weeks ago. And we got a lot of nice reaction to this. It was fun to kind of play with a brand new Sapphire effect. And like I said, we're super excited to put this in the 2019.5 release. So it's more of our commitment to adding in new features mid-cycle. So that's kind of a great value add. If you went ahead and purchased 2019 in fall of last year, now this summer you're getting some brand new effects and transitions to play with. I'll go ahead and pop in real quick and show you the different params of parallax strips. Very quickly, it has an automatic mode, so basically you don't even have to keyframe. It'll just put a keyframe at the beginning and a keyframe at the end, and always go ahead and kind of form that, that full kind of rejoin effect. If you want to manually, you can switch into manual mode, and you can actually set that keyframe. So if you'd like it to form real fast or form real slow, it doesn't have to be linked to the start and end of a clip. That's what the manual mode is as well. So now we have some typical parameters like you would expect: number of strips, size, and angle and depth. All right, I'm going to move quickly here so we can get through some other stuff. Builder has had some cool improvements as well. Here's a little builder effect I put together. It's a little glitchy, has some pixel sort and some TV damage in there. Let me go ahead and jump into the effect builder, and let's turn this off. There's our original clip, and here's our effect on top. Jumping into Builder, you're going to see it has a completely redone UI. So we've redesigned the full UI of Builder. Let's go ahead and make this a little bigger. To match all of our other applications. So if you've used Particle Illusion before or Title Studio, you'll notice that Builder now features the same color scheme. It has a nice now dark and gray UI. All the buttons have been redone. Everything has been optimized for high DPI monitors. So if you have a 4K monitor, Builder's going to look fantastic on that as well. Also, if you have a broadcast monitor, the output of Builder will now show to that broadcast monitor. So if you have an AJA or a Blackmagic card that's driving, a broadcast monitor through Avid or Premiere or Resolve or After Effects, previously Builder would just kind of be black on that broadcast monitor. Now you'll see the proper output, and you can scope and analyze that image. But the biggest feature we're super excited about is you'll notice there is a timeline in here. So Builder now has full clip access. So here you could see like we would have just grabbed a poster frame from the host. Now we're going to grab the full clip access. So you can actually see what your video clip looks like, and you can see what your effect looks like on the full clip. This has been a long requested feature, so we're super psyched to add in full clip access inside Builder as well. You'll see that full clip access also in other areas like the preset browser and the lens flare designer. So anywhere that previously we had only kind of shown you a poster frame of the effect, you'll now see that full clip access, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting for us. Took a lot of work to get there, but we're happy to kind of introduce this new feature inside of Builder. Okay, let me just move this over. Let me exit out of Builder and show you guys Pixel Sort, which is really cool. If you guys are familiar with Pixel Sort or Pixel Sorting, it is in the stylized category. Go ahead and drop Pixel Sort on. You can immediately see what's happening. What Pixel Sort is doing is it is sorting pixels along a linear line based upon any sort of criteria. So let me go ahead and turn the threshold, so I'm going to sort every single pixel in this image. I'm going to turn random restart off, and you can see what it's doing here. It's putting all the blacks and taking them and assigning a number, like say if the black is 0 and full white is 1, and then on a linear line, it's going to put all the blacks on the left and all the whites on the right and sort them all along the gradient in between that brightness value. And then you can work with a threshold just to define which of those pixels you would like to sort. So you get some really cool type glitchy, like Jesse said, it's definitely like kind of video art, glitch art type effect. You don't have to just sort, along a horizontal line. You can move these up, and you can do some really type funky sorts at different angles. You also just don't have to do a linear sort. You can also do a radial sort, which is going to blast out from a center point and not along a linear line, and you can do a circular pixel sort as well. So you can actually sort along concentric circular lines emanating from a center point. So Pixel Sort, like I said, is a new effect that came out in 2019. Super excited about this one. Have this kind of cool example of Pixel Sort 2 combined with Sapphire RGB time effect. So another really cool way Pixel Sort is being used. And then also, always like to point out that Sapphire effects in general are always best when they're masked and use the integrated Mocha tracking and masking that's a part of Sapphire. You don't have to have a separate license for this. It is included, and here's a really cool example of pixel sorting with the integrated Mocha tracking and masking. These are just a bunch of little like one frame masks that will cut inside Mocha, and then we're just applying pixel sort to the outside of those masks and to the inside of those masks, and you get a really cool type music video effect as well. All right. Sorry to move so fast here, guys, but we definitely have a lot to get to. Lens flares is something that was improved upon the last version of Sapphire. The lens flare designer has been completely redone. Sapphire lens flares have had a ton of work done on them. So if I go ahead and jump in to the Sapphire flare designer, you're going to see it's also been completely redone and has a nice new UI. This was done for 2019.5. The lens designer itself was completely redone for Sapphire 2019, but for 2019.5, we have once again adopted the Boris FX color scheme to all our external apps. So this nice dark gray interface, redone all these icons for high DPI monitors as well. So everything's going to look fantastic on the 4K monitor. Same type thing with Builder. The Flare Designer now has nice output to a broadcast monitor. So if you do have a broadcast monitor, you're going to see the output of your flare in there. Tons of new presets added into here. Lots of real-world presets like Cook Anamorphics and some really kind of cool different lenses. Tons of new lens flare stuff to play with, and we're going to add in some new lens flare presets for 2019.5 as well. So now that we've kind of built this tool, it's not like something we've built and then kind of forget about. We're constantly going to be improving upon it. 2019.5 will have some little like improvements in terms of the functionality and a whole ton of new presets added in here as well. And I can't kind of do a presentation about Sapphire without talking about some Sapphire transitions. So Sapphire transitions are awesome. This is a new one called Whiplash. Whiplash came out in 2019.5 as well. You'll see it's like SwitchPan on steroids. It basically takes an image and duplicates it multiple times on each side and then uses motion blur to kind of whip kind of further and faster through the image. And so Whiplash is a new one. You'll see some new presets with Whiplash as well. And this last transition is going to be a new one for 2019.5, which is a new builder transition. It is a really cool kind of, we call it like a zoom push through. Like all of our builder transitions are created by outside editors and artists. This was created by Angus over at Bunnish Creative in LA. He uses this for his own work, kind of passed along to us, and we'll release it in 2019.5 for everyone to use as well. So that is my kind of speed through the new features in Sapphire 2019.5. Like I said, parallax strips is the new one. We're also going to have a pixel sort transition, which is really cool, a new digital damage transition, the new updated UI and Builder and Flare Designer, full clip access in Flare Designer and Builder as well, and support for broadcast monitors. So thank you guys so much. Like I said, I'll be in the forums answering any questions you guys have. I'm going to hand it over to Pete so he can show you the new features in Continuum 2019 and Particle Illusion. So I'm going to make Pete the presenter here. Give me 1 second. All right. Pete, there you go. You should have control.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Got control, and I have unmuted my mic. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Peter McCauley, Senior Product Manager at Boris FX. And I'm just going to show you a few new things inside of Continuum 2019 and 2019.5. So as Brian mentioned, we're doing a two-tiered release moving forward with all products. And we released 2019 Continuum back at after IBC last year, which was September in 2019. And now we're doing a mid-cycle update, which should be happening this June. And that's going to be 19.5. And I'm going to show you some cool new features in that, along with some of the new features that we included in 2019. So for anybody who's actually familiar with the Continuum product, they would, I'm sure, know by now about Primat Studio. We licensed the Primat algorithm and built a filter around that algorithm, and that filter is now called Primat Studio. And Primat Studio is a 3D keying solution. So what does that mean? That means, unlike most keying solutions, we can actually sample multiple different colors in the same setting. So, for instance, I've got this Primat Studio applied here. You know, there's our little custom toolbar that we include with the filter to help guide you through the process of actually creating a key. And I've done all the work here already, and as Brian said, we have a very limited amount of time here to get through a bunch of different stuff for you. So I'm going to skip over actually generating this key. There's a ton of tutorials online that can go through that. But instead, what I wanted to show you was this brand new unreleased filter called BCC Spill Remover. So as we all know, when we're dealing with green, let me just show the background there. When we're dealing with green screens, there's a thing called spill. And spill is where some of the green from the background spills onto the foreground and is caught either by a reflective surface or just absorption into the products that the that the subject is wearing. So for instance, in this case, I went in, I created this key, and I thought, gosh, you know, I've created this really great result. You know, it looks so cool. I thought I was done. So then I played around with the spill remover filter, and I realized actually I wasn't done. So I'm just going to show you what the result looks like with this spill remover enabled. So there it is, disabled. I'll turn it on, and bingo, just like immediately, it removes and eliminates all spill from the shot. So this is actually something that I can show you in another comp that I've got here on this AE timeline. For instance, if I go to this shot, here's our final result again, and this dancer looks wonderful. She's keyed out over just like a black solid right now. I mean, I could turn that off and show you the transparent background like that. But what I really wanted to show you was that there's this spill remover filter, which is eliminating all this extra spill. This is a tough shot, believe it or not. I mean, it looks like it'd be a piece of cake. You know, you just like apply the filter and key out that color. And that's fine, but the problem in this shot is the massive amount of spill that her skin picked up, and her hair, and her hairband. And yeah, you know, I could go in and use Primat's controls to like ease that back, but then I get into this war of like what is spill, what is not. it's a battle that, you know, you can spend many minutes trying to solve. So you may think, oh gosh, a few minutes, that's great. Well, what if you've got like dozens of shots to key out? That becomes a bigger problem. So key and blend, I go down to the new BCC spill remover filter, and it's this simple. It's drag and drop. And I've eliminated, not just reduced, eliminated any spill in the shot. So a fabulous new filter. There are multiple ways to use it. Unreleased, this is coming out in the mid-cycle release this summer. So this is one thing that you will all have to look forward to. Some of the other new features and filters that we added into Continuum 2019 and that are coming into 2019.5 include the brand new particle illusion system. So I'm just going to like pop in here and show you, as you can see, I've got a few comps here from our NAB show. I'm just going to click, say, this particular shot. So that's a render that I had there. So if I drag through, you'll notice that I've got this aurora in the sky, but it's not affecting any of the foreground. And if I click on my particle illusion filter, I'll just turn it off, and you can see there's the original shot. Turn it back on again. There's particle illusion doing its thing. And one of the things that it's doing, apart from like creating these particles, is masking out the foreground. And that foreground mask is done by the wonderful Mocha. So we were lucky enough to be able to include Mocha inside of every single Continuum filter. And one of the things that Mocha does quite well, of course, is not just tracking, but also masking. And if I click on Mocha Track and Mask, what this is going to do is bring up the Mocha, what we call the simplified or Mocha Lite user interface. This is not the full Mocha where you can do all these beautiful inserts or like VR moves or screen replacements or, you know, the amazing stabilization that's inside Mocha. Nope, this is just the masking tool. So, and the tracking tool, of course. If I turn that off, I'm just going to show you this really cool new feature. So what I'll do is I'll hold down the Z key and zoom in a little bit, and you think, oh gosh, you know, I got the sky to replace, I've got to rotorot this tree. Oh no, better set aside a few hours to do that. So because you'd be going like this, you're clicking using these great spline tools to go in and create this shape, and all of a sudden you realize like, gosh, I've got a lot of work to do. I'll just right click and close it because I'm going to show you how you can do that with a little bit of work with this brand new edge snapping tool. And I'm just going to touch on it because Mary Poplin's on the line here, and she's going to jump in and show you like how a little bit of a deeper dive into that. But you can see I haven't made a single click yet. I'm just dragging over the image, and it's automatically and magnetically snapping along lines of contrast to make this roto job something which I can accomplish in very short order. I can just hold and drag to like create a freehand shape, right click to close it, and there's like, just to give you an idea of what it took me to create this shape. It was very quick. It only took about a minute to create such a complex mask shape, and then apply this back in, just to do this, don't save because I already saved this, to create this foreground matte, which added a little bit of blur into the matte controls there, or mask controls rather. Just added like a 5-pixel blur to the edge of that to soften it out, and when I turn off the matte, there it is, composited back in. So that was done with particle illusion, of course. Now, particle illusion, I'm going to jump into the particle illusion UI in another comp that I've got here. And let's go to, say, this one. And in this shot, I've actually comped in this like sun into this subject's face, just right on the eye. And if I click on the shot here, I'll just turn off the render. If I click on this shot, I'm going to now load up the particle illusion UI. But before I do so, you'll notice that there's this little line here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. You can see this little line. This is a motion tracking line. So particle illusion, like the other filters that have Mocha included, offer the ability to go in and use Mocha planar tracking to track surfaces. So I use that to track the surface of this eye, and there's the motion path that the subject made when she moved, opened her eye and moved along a little bit. I'm just going to now jump into particle illusion. So I'll click on the Launch Particle Illusion button. It brings up the custom user interface. And these are the thousands of pre-baked emitters that ship with the product. If you just download it and you don't have all the emitters, don't worry. You just go into Help and go to Download Emitters. This will bring you to our website where you can go and download the additional emitters, which take up, I think, about 250 megs or so zipped. It unzips into much more than that, of course. But as we can see, here is our particle system. So I've got particles just dancing over this eye. And one of the brand new features, again, this is an unreleased feature, because that's what this webinar is about, right? We're showing you some new stuff, some of the things that we did at NAB. If I go into the particle properties, I now have the ability to go and adjust the shape image. So you can see on the right-hand side, there's the original shape. This is the shape that was used when this emitter was designed. And I can now go in and change the shape. So I can change the shape to any of the pre-built shapes which ship with this particular emitter. Obviously not every single emitter has every single shape because there would be many, many thousands to scroll through here. So instead of that, you just get the emitters that ship with it. And what's more, you can go now and add a shape. If I click on Add Shape, then this brings me to an area where I can go in and select an image. And if I go down and say, oh, let's go in and choose something with some alpha. So I have a, let's see, in my images, I'll go to, let's see, search for, here, added, name matches added, inside my images, and new added logo.tiff, all files, and open. So now there's the Avid file. Now I'm bringing in the Avid logo inside of the particle system. So I can have it in color, grayscale. I can apply this, add it in, and then this can become an emitter. So again, this is work in progress. So like some of these features are not fully baked in yet. You can zoom, you can scale, you can flip the image X, Y, you can flip X, Y individually or together. You have a reference point. You click on reference point. This is where is the center of the image as the sprites are spinning and turning. That's a quick little overview of some of the new stuff inside of Particle Illusion. And I'm just going to cancel this. And again, we've got a ton of different tutorial media online, free, available for you to sift through and have a look at, including we just, like one of our guys, Vin, just created this really cool new tutorial showing how to create a flame sword using one of the particle illusion emitters, which is animated along the length of this sword. There's more to it than just that. As you can see, there's a few different layers in this comp, but Finn does a great job of breaking it down. We're going to release that video this week, so you should be able to go online and have a look at that. You know, there's another instance of particle illusion. Obviously, we're watching a little bit of Game of Thrones here, right? There's the dead owl. In this instance, I've animated the position of this emitter so that it appears as though there's steam coming out of that steam stack on the cruiser. So these are some cool things that you can do with particle illusion. A beautiful and wonderful new particle system. So I've only got a few more minutes left, so I'm just going to come down and have a look at some of the other things that we brought in, which is the right here. So I've got this piece of text which I created using Title Studio. Here's the Title Studio filter. And this text is just floating up in this background of this video, and then it explodes off into shards. This is achieved by using what's called a vertex shader. So this is extruded text, and the extruded text in reality is a 3D model inside of Title Studio. And what Title Studio does when I apply the shader is it bursts the vertices, all the different triangles which go into making up a model shape, and pushes them off into space. And I've got a huge amount of control of what I can do with that. And in fact, I'll show that to you in the next comp where I can go and import, say, a model file. I've got this 3D model file which I generated inside of Cinema 4D, and I imported that into Title Studio, and now I've got this shattered logo flying off into space. So I imported the C4D file, but I could also import an OBJ. These are the two file formats that Title Studio will support for the near term. Obviously, as we go deeper into like full 3D, which would mean supporting animation, IK, all this kind of stuff, we will open it up and maybe use FBX format or something like that. But currently it's OBJ and C4D, and we import a model with its material attributes. So that's what we're doing right now inside of Title Studio. Here's another version of it. And let me just see if this one will actually Wake up, yep, there it is. And this one I had some particles in the background, and then I had added a 3D model in that. But just to give you a look at what we can do with that model, I'm going to go into Title Studio, and I'm just going to launch the Title Studio user interface. This will be the last piece that I'm going to show you for today. But as you can see, there's the model in 3D space. It's a full 3D solution. And you can see how the shards are breaking off into space. We've also got, if I click on shaders and go into deformers, we've got a whole bunch of different deformers in here. If I take the bend, taper, twist deformer and apply that to the scene also, go to my control panel, I can now go in and bend this model, or I can go in and taper it. So I'm deforming this model in full 3D space. So Title Studio, not just for titling anymore, but also to do very cool things like warp 3D models in real time in 3D space. And you might be asking, well, that's great, now what's going to render like? This will render in real time. I could just click play, and this is how fast this 3D model is going to render in your timeline. So that's some of the wonderful news that we have for Continuum, which was for NAB this year, and what we have to share with you right now. I am now going to pass you over to my esteemed colleague, Mary Poplin.
All right, thank you, Peter. So hi, guys. I'm Mary Poplin, for those of you that don't know me. I am a Boris FX Senior Product Specialist. I specialize in Mocha, and I'm here to tell you about what's new in Mocha 2019, 2019.5, and a little bit of what's coming in Mocha 2020. So we're mostly going to talk about 2019.5, but I'll go over some of the stuff that's new in Mocha 2020 as well. Top level, Mocha Pro 2019.5 is actually scheduled for the summer with everything else that we're releasing, and it's going to add support for Resolve and for Flame. So that's two things you guys have really been asking for. It has new edge snapping features for Roto, supports a new PowerPin export for AE, and has multiple optimizations for speed. So let's talk a little bit about Roto first. All right, you know me. Roto is my favorite thing in the whole world, right? Not really, not particularly, but Roto is difficult and it is time-consuming. But we have added some tools to make rotoscoping a little bit easier for you. So, if I want to use Mocha to actually rotoscope this soccer player so that I can composite him over the top of this text, what I can do is I can launch Mocha, and I've actually already rotoed most of this shop for you, but I do kind of want to show you the process for rotoscoping and some of the tools that we can use to make things a little bit easier. But anyway, while that's loading, let's talk a little bit about what we're adding. So what I want to show you is some snapping features, and snapping is actually going to be where you can select points and you can actually ask Mocha to snap them to the edges of your shape, and it actually uses an edge detection to make that happen. Now, obviously, we know that you would love to see this work over time. It doesn't currently work over time for Roto, but let's just go ahead and talk about that. And now we're going to, again, we're going to scroll through in our Essentials mode right to here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our magnetic spline tool and we're going to click along the edges just like this, and we're going to draw. And again, we're going to click along the edges. We're using our magnetic spline tool to create a nice little shape for our leg. And let's hit track forwards in a little bit as well. So we're going to hit track backwards. Now let's hit track forwards. What I want you to notice is that, Mocha's a planar tracker, so it hangs onto the object, but it doesn't do a really great job at sticking to the edges of things. Well, that is not a problem, because what we can do is we can actually use our lasso tool here, and we're going to select the edge just like this, and we're going to hit S for snap, and now it's going to snap to the edges of what it could find. Now, it is only an edge finder, so it actually doesn't do a perfect job for every single point. What you need to do is you need to look for edges. Okay, so right here, I'm going to hit S again. We're going to just draw a little shape right here, S for snap. And again, where it can't find the edge, it doesn't find it, so you will have to hand correct it because it's looking for areas of contrast. What this does is actually speed up your roto quite a bit. It is not an auto roto, it is a roto assistant like everything else in Mocha, but you can see very quickly we can start to make our roto shapes really nice looking without doing a whole lot of work by using our edge snapping tool. So some other stuff I want to talk about inside of the new 2019.5 version of Mocha. So I mentioned that we have Resolve support. Specifically, we now support Resolve in the Mocha Pro. We support the Mocha Pro OFX plugin in the Resolve 16 color page, and Flame 2020 support. I'm not going to be able to show that, but I do want to point out that for Flame 2020, going forward, we're going to now support the Mocha Pro OFX plugin in Flame 2020. I showed you edge snapping. What I do also want to point out really quickly that I forgot to mention, I was talking about Essentials mode, but what we can actually do is we can do things like go to our tools, our viewer, and we can actually like show things that we want, like advanced tools in our toolbar, and then we can actually go to our view and we can go to our layouts, and we can actually save our current layout as something new. So if I want to save, like, this is Mary's layout, I can do that. So it's a new layout manager, and you can actually modify and order layouts from the view menu. Any new layouts you create will appear in the workspace menu. Also, if we want to render mats, so if I'm rendering a mat for his head here, and I go to let's go to classic view, and we go to our selected layer here, mat for layer 1. If you view your mats, you're actually going to be able to render these now with GPU processing, so that's going to be rendering improvements for that. Another thing I want to show you guys that's coming and is new is actually inside of the plugin inside of After Effects. A lot of folks asked for a PowerPoint, a PowerPin export. So PowerPoint, good gravy. So a PowerPin export, what does that mean? Well, what that means is if you want to make a screen insert, let's say I want to insert this sort of, let me just turn off his fingers here for a second. If I wanted to insert this sort of insert onto my acrylic panel here, what I can do is I can actually select my Mocha profile for this, and I can apply a CC power pin. So what we're going to do is we're going to create track data, okay, from our screen track, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply that export to our X-ray slides. So let's turn on X-ray slides, CC power pin. We want this to be on X-ray slides, and we're going to apply our export. And what that will do is that will now apply my CC power pin to my export, and then I can start to composite it however I want. So for instance, I could come here and I could start to say, like, overlay this over the top, and I could add roto to it. So that is a new export that's coming. We're really excited about that in 2019.5. And also for those of you that have been using Mocha and you've experienced some issues with autosave, we actually now autosave in backups. So we autosave our backups, and you can now iterate them to make sure that minimal work is lost if something crashes on you, because, as we evidenced at the beginning of the shot, sometimes stuff just crashes. Now, Mocha 2020, I do want to really quickly point something out. Mocha 2020 is going to have a new very interesting tool in it, and I want to mention it right here. We have this thing called the Area Brush tool. For those of you that are doing color correction or like editing, and you need to make like really fast shapes, our new Area Brush tool is just something that you paint over where you want to track. It turns into a spline, and you can actually start to track that in your scene however you like. So we're really pretty excited about the Area Brush tool as well, and it becomes an editable spline that you can do anything you like to it. All right, guys, do I have time, and do we want to see the mega clean plates, do you think, or should I just go ahead and pass it back off to the rest of the team?
You probably got about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, then I will show that as well. We have one more new feature coming in Mocha 2020, and I want to kind of like, make sure that you guys know that this is a feature that is coming and is not yet available and will not be available until Mocha 2020. But we're working on something called Mega Clean Plates, and we were really excited to show this at NAB as well. The gist is that you essentially track an area of your screen. Okay, and then based on the camera motion and the spline that you articulate, what Mocha will try to do is Mocha will try to build out this scene based on the pixels that you're telling it to use in the area you're telling it to build into. So what that means is you can create one mega clean plate for a shot. So if I come over here and I click on layer 1, right now it uses the remove module. It's not always going to use the remove module, we don't think. We think we might make this as its own module, but for right now to display this, we're going to show it inside the remove module. But we're going to say, hey, generate a mega clean plate. And what we're going to do is we're going to say maximum dimensions, and we're not removing her out of the scene yet, so we're not going to remove foreground, but I'm going to hit generate. And what this is going to do is this is going to do something that normally an artist has to do by hand, which is overlay images until they get a full scene. You can do something like this in the auto pano inside of Photoshop, but what it does is it actually warps it based on a lens model. That's not always useful. Sometimes you need it to warp it based on how the camera is moving in the shot. What this does is this actually warps it based on how the camera is moving in the shot based on the tracking data and builds out a single clean plate to use through a moving camera shot that you can use for things like matte paintings, for things like set rebuilds, for things like 3D projections, okay, and for things like stereo conversion where you need to see behind an object and can't, or for things that you would normally need to use multiple clean plates inside of the remove module. Now you can only use one clean plate and you'll have a plate for the entire remove module. So that's mega clean plates. We're pretty excited about that as well, and you can see we've built out this whole side of the shot with maximum dimensions based on the camera motion. All right, guys, I am Mary Poplin with Boris FX. Thanks so much for your patience and your time and for tuning in. I'm going to pass this back to Jessie, I believe.
Yes. Hi, everyone. All right. Thank you for joining us again. I just want to quickly mention the raffle winners. Congratulations to Timothy George, who has won the one-year Boris FX bundle. Congratulations to Lisa Binkley, who has won the one-year Sapphire subscription. Congratulations to Forrest Brennan, who has won the one-year Continuum subscription. And congratulations to Deborah Koo, who has won the one-year Mocha Pro subscription. You'll be receiving emails with all your details shortly from me. Hey, Brian, do you want to go over anything?
We're all really excited about these 2019.5 releases coming this summer. As you guys can see, there's a ton of new features in Mocha, Continuum, and Sapphire, so we're excited to get these out this summer. Once again, like I said, we are having our biggest sale of the year right now with the NAB sale. So 25% off all discount, off all products, 50% off all bundles. So you guys have till the end of the weekend to take advantage of that if you guys are looking to save on Sapphire, Continuum, or Mocha. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in, and congratulations to all the prize winners. And just tell everyone to keep an eye out this summer for the 2019.5 releases.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.